Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Andy on Crime, where I look at high profile criminal cases in England and Wales. In this video I'm going to be looking at the question of whether or not it is likely that Piers Morgan, the former editor of the Daily Mirror, will face charges of phone hacking. Now this follows the decision in the civil case between Prince Harry and Mirror Group newspapers. So starting off with a very brief recap of the case. On the 15th of December 2023, in the civil case between Prince Harry and Mirror Group newspapers, it was found that on 15 of the 33 sample claims that were taken forward to trial, that Prince Harry had been the victim of unlawful information gathering and voicemail interception. He was awarded over £140,000 in damages as a result of the decision. Now, as part of the judgment, the judge found that Piers Morgan, the former editor of the Daily Mirror between 1994 and 2004, knew that phone hacking was taking place and was involved. Now, this has led to calls in some corners that Piers Morgan should face criminal prosecution. Now, in this video, I'm going to outline what criminal charges could possibly be laid against Piers Morgan, and then explain why I believe it is highly unlikely that he will ever be convicted based on the judgment in this case. Now, hacking an individual's phone by intercepting their telephone calls can attract both criminal and civil penalties. In terms of criminal penalties, the Regulation of Investigatory Powers Act 2000, known as RIPA, is the main criminal statute that deals with phone hacking, and Section 1 of RIPA provides that an unauthorised interception of communications is a criminal offence and covers the following types of communication: fixed and mobile telephone lines, unanswered voicemail messages, emails, text messages, and paper messages. There are other forms of regulation that covers hacking offences, such as Section 48 of the Wireless Telegraph Act and Section 1 of the Computer Misuse Act. Now, it's highly unlikely, or at least would be very difficult to prove to the criminal standard, that an editor or someone senior within these organisations was directly involved in phone hacking or intercepting people's voicemails. As we've heard from evidence in the Leveson inquiry and the trials that have fallen out from that, usually it was lower level staff who were acting, they say, on the instruction or knowledge of the higher ups within the organisation. So that would lead then to a charge of conspiracy rather than the principal offence itself. Now, a conspiracy to commit a criminal offence essentially means planning to commit a criminal offence in consort with others. And under Section 1.1 of the Criminal Law Act 1977, if a person agrees with any other person or persons that a course of conduct shall be pursued, which if the agreement is carried out in accordance with their intentions, either will necessarily amount to or involve the commission of any offence or offences by one or more of the parties to the agreement, or would do so but for the existence of facts which render the commission of the offence or any of the offences impossible, he is guilty of conspiracy to commit the offence or offences in question. Now, the first thing we need to look at in answering the question of whether or not it is likely that Piers Morgan will be prosecuted for phone hacking under the sections that I've just mentioned is to look at the standard of proof. Now, in a civil case, which was what Prince Harry's trial was, the standard of proof is much lower than it is in a criminal trial. In a civil case, Prince Harry had to show that he was the victim of unlawful information gathering and voicemail interception on the standard known as on the balance of probabilities, i.e. was it more likely than not that Prince Harry was subjected to phone hacking by Mirror Group newspapers. And on the 15 of 33 claims that he was successful, he convinced a judge that it was more likely than not that the Mirror Group newspapers had indeed engaged in unlawful information gathering and voicemail interception. If you contrast that to the criminal standard, where the prosecution must bring the case and then prove every element of the offence so that a jury is sure, you can see the disparity between, on the one hand, convincing a judge that on the balance of probabilities that your claim should succeed, and then on the other hand, satisfying a jury so that they are sure that an individual is guilty. So what you cannot do from the judgment in the Prince Harry case is take the judge's comments that Piers Morgan knew or was involved in phone hacking, which the judge has found on the balance of probabilities, which is the standard that he is required to do so, and then find that this is a smoking gun, which means that Piers Morgan would also be found to have engaged in phone hacking to the criminal standard. And that is not to say that he would not be found guilty if there was evidence showing he did. This is merely to highlight the problem with comparing two different legal processes with different standards of proof. Now, if we look at the case of Prince Harry and the involvement, or lack of involvement, shall we say, of Piers Morgan in this case, we can also pull out some other interesting points which may mean that a prosecution based on the evidence in this case to be unlikely. The first thing to say is that only one of the 33 sample claims that were taken forward were published under the editorship of Piers Morgan, so only one of the claims that succeeded actually involved him in any capacity. The next thing to say is that Piers Morgan was not actually involved in this case at all. He was not called as a witness and was unable to refute any of the allegations made by any of the others in the case. Now, if this was a criminal case, Piers Morgan would be represented by a defence barrister who would question the witnesses who were alleging that he was involved in phone hacking. He never had such an opportunity to do so. Now, Piers Morgan has stated that he has never hacked a phone or told anyone else to hack a phone, and that there has been no evidence presented to show that he did. And again, he goes on to say in his own evidence that he wasn't called by either side in this case, and nor asked to provide a statement, which he would have been happy to do so. So what are the police saying about the decision in the Prince Harry case and any investigation that might commence? Well, the Metropolitan Police released a brief statement following the judgment being handed down, saying that officers will now carefully consider the civil judgment handed down by the High Court. But they did say that as things stand, there is no ongoing investigation. So it'll be interesting to see how that one develops as time progresses. So to summarise, following the decision in the Prince Harry and Mirror Group newspaper case, if Piers Morgan were to be charged with a criminal offence related to phone hacking, it's likely to be under Section 1 of RIPA for the unauthorised interception of voicemails. But given his position as an editor and the fact that it is highly unlikely that he directly accessed people's voicemails, rather other low-level staff members would have done it on the newspaper's behalf, he's probably looking at some type of conspiracy offence under Section 1.1 of the Criminal Law Act 1977. But when you look at the civil case and the different standard of proof between a civil case on the balance of probabilities and a criminal case, which is so that a jury is sure, you can see the disparity between the two standards of proof. So it's unlikely, based on this judgment alone, that there would ever be a successful prosecution. If you also look at the fact that in the decision in the Prince Harry case, only one of the 33 claims were found to have involved Piers Morgan in any capacity, as he was the editor during one of the successful claims, and the fact that he was not called to give evidence or be involved as a witness in any capacity, I think based purely on this judgment, it is highly unlikely that he would be prosecuted, and indeed the Metropolitan Police have stated that no investigation is currently ongoing. That's all for this video. If you do have any comments, then please drop them down below. If you did enjoy this video, then please do give it a like, and if you'd like to see more from me, then please do subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Take care.